Calling from a 651 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Is this me?
Yep. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hey, yeah, my name's John. I live in Minnesota, Stillwater, Minnesota, and all right. So this morning I had breakfast with a near and dear friend of mine. I say that kind of in quotes. We went to high school together. We're about mid-20s now, and I used to be a libertarian. Now I'm a socialist. Fellow comrade. And thank you.
Okay.
And my friend, he's very much on the opposite side of the political spectrum of me. And today, during breakfast, he was talking about how he finally found a psychologist that he likes to listen to. And he said, and guess what? He's not from here, and he's from Canada. And I asked him, is it Jordan Peterson? And he goes, oh, you've heard of him.
Fucking A.
Should I just cut my friendship loose with this guy?
Yes.
No. I would try and save him before he goes too deep into that stuff. Look, you are a perfect example of somebody who can come out of it.
Give him some apple cider.
What was it? Let's put it this way, John. What was it that made you realize that your libertarianism was folly?
Well, I went through a lot of mental health problems, and I saw that the happiest countries were socialist countries. Bada bing, bada boom, right there.
That's
there
really interesting. That's interesting.
What is the basis of your?
Struggles?
Yeah.
What was that? No.
What is the basis? What is the basis of your friend's ideology?
I don't know. That's the thing. I've been trying to figure it out. I've been trying to dig. I've been digging at it for a few years now, trying to figure out why he thinks this way. I mean, he's even advocated for eugenics in the past. He's like, there's people who are a waste on society.
As I was saying, cut him out.
I mean, at that point, like, if that's the case, I mean, the only thing I guess I would say is, like, how do you know that you're not one of those people?
That's a damn good question.
I mean, what makes him so sure that if somebody unravels the eugenics program that he's not on the list to go?
The thing is, he would be too, because he was born with heart murmurs.
Gotta go.
We don't
get the
need
fuck
those,
out.
We
Sorry.
don't need the heart murmurs.
I don't need
around.
heart murmuring Jordan Peterson fans. Goodbye.
Yeah, no, but pushing people away just digs them in more to their
No,
beliefs.
I agree with you. Listen,
just,
Michael's saying this, and he's being a little bit glib. Look, in this instance,
I knew Michael was going to do that. I knew he was going to do that. So I've been sitting
that
with
is
him.
Michael's
So
predictability is one of his best traits. But I would suggest
Sam's very unpredictable.
That you say to him, like, well, what if society decided that, heart murmur guys who have, maybe some emotional issues, too much of a drain? I mean, I would take it that way, to maybe sort of like see if there's any...
There is this.
I mean, the thing is, it's not always a conversation about eugenics. It's usually a topic about, the welfare state or something like that.
Well,
and
but the point is,
he doesn't realize that he was born in upper middle class.
Right. My point is you need to try and get him to empathize in some way.
But there's a way,
like, even if it's a hypothetical.
But there's this Ayn Rand example I want to use because I think it works for this. Because somebody was asking, how can she have such a mass following when, by definition, not everybody who buys her books are going to be financially successful or CEOs, which is basically the only people in her writing she said are worth basically even living and respecting, right? And there was a letter that some guy wrote her, and some guy, he was not happy in his career. He wasn't particularly successful. He didn't have any prestige or money. And he said, basically like, I feel like I get your writing and I'm part of this like elite group, but at the same time, like, you know, I'm not a master of the world. So like, what does that mean about me? And she was like, well, you know what? If you can read my books and you understand them, then by definition, you're part of this elite. Like, even if it doesn't look like it outside right now, she went like super woo-woo on him. And I think actually Jordan Peterson does that quite a bit. At least, you know, he does a lot of signaling where it's like all of these people are trash, but if you have a very specific set of difficulties and grievances, you actually either A, ironically, you actually are being oppressed, and B, you are still part of some like cognitive elite. So I think that's a hard lane to try to get somebody to have empathy through, to be honest.
I don't know.
But
A heart murmur. Heart
the
murmur.
right impulse to want to personalize it.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I would try that, and then if that doesn't work, then cut them loose. Get some new friends. Appreciate the call, John.
It's harder when it's your family.
As Chris Rock would say, he wasn't talking about me.
What's that last word?
What
Go
I've
ahead.
known about, what I've noticed about, you know, people on the left and people on the right is that people on the left, we will respond to these, you know, personal stories, you know, because we have empathy, but people on the right tend to be more appeal to authority. Like, you know, he said, like, oh, you know, I like Trump because he's better than Obama, and I asked how, like, why, what do you like about him? He's like, well, I don't know, he's just better. Like, it's appeal to authority. They like people who yell the loudest, and there's just, what do you do with that?
Well, like I say, you try and personalize it. Go into what their maybe their flaw or their weakness is, and say, how would you, you know, why is it not justified that others exploit that? And if that doesn't slowly begin to create some empathy in them, then I would say cut them loose and tell them that the voting day actually is on Wednesday, not on Tuesday.
I prefer
Appreciate
friends
the call, John.
without heart murmurs.
Yes, heart murmurs. We don't need people running around with weak, most important organs in the body.
My mother told me I had great...